What is going on, everybody? It is Luke. Today we're going to be talking about something I've mentioned before, but a little bit into discussion and showing how you can pay with a credit card bills such as VAT and corporation tax within your business. So usually what you would do is obviously for that kind of payment is pay from your bank account and pay off your taxes, okay? But there is a way that you can put it through a credit card and actually gain some value out of that, because not one, you're getting some cash flow freed up because you don't have to pay it out of your main balance. Of course, you've got to pay your credit cards off at some point, but at least you've got that little bit of breathing space. Maybe it's going to be in a month's time. For example, my bill will be due in about a month, for example, for these HMRC bills or charges. And also I'm getting some cash back because I'm using my capital on tap for this process, okay? So what you can see here, obviously I'm going to hide a lot of this detail because it's my sort of transactions on my capital on tap. But what you can see here is that I've got two payments, one here for 9,009 and one here for 7,834. I paid it separately because for a reason I'll discuss in a sec, but ultimately you can see it one day after another. 16,000 and a bit VAT bill that I paid about a week ago, and I'm going to be getting about 165 quid, something like that, of bonuses, obviously for rewards. Okay, so how did I do that? What are the benefits and what are the contingencies and limitations to that? So I use the curve medal for this. I can't actually log in on the portal to show you the transactions, but I'm going to talk over how I did it and actually something that I found out by doing it. So ultimately, if you've got the curve metal, which is the one for 14.99, this is euros, but probably because I'm in Lithuania. Obviously, apart from getting your cash back, which I'm maximizing and taking advantage of anyway, and you get stuff like no fees abroad, you get various things like protection, you get stuff like worldwide travel, you can kind of see here, mobile phone insurance, car access, hire, blah, 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 a metal card, but yeah, metal card's a metal card. Yeah, apart from getting all these kind of like bonuses, what you get, maybe it tells you here, maybe it doesn't. It doesn't really explain it too well here. You get which I didn't know, a per month 10,000 limit of a credit card. Basically, you can use a credit card for bills. And on the app, it actually shows you that, or tells you that. It will say you can basically pay your government taxes, for example, with a credit card up to 10,000 a month. So the thing that I've now learned that I will look to do next time, because I have had 16,000 to pay, even though on the website, HMRC website, it says the fees were about like £20 or £18, I believe, because it thinks I'm using a debit card, because the curve card that you use to pay is a debit card. Okay, MasterCard debit. But you obviously on your app select it to charge your capital on tap. So you select the card that you've added to your Curve app. You select which one you want. You can change it all the time. And basically, I selected the capital on tap and it's charged the capital on tap. Now, if I look at this is actually a higher. This should have been about £100 cheaper. So I was like, what? Why is that £100 more expensive? If I go into my emails, just because I was checking, confirmation from HMRC, it's 7,738 quid or something like that. And I was like, well, what's going on? And what I found out is that there was a 10,000 limit per month for that kind of thing. So what I should have done, you can see the dates, I should have put through my first payment of like 9,000 on the 30th or 31st of March, whatever day is the last, and then I should have put through the remaining amount in the next month, because it would have reset that 10,000 limit. But I didn't know that at the time, because it isn't very clear initially unless you delve into it and you kind of drill into it. So I got about £100 of charges, but even though I got £100 of charges, I still made about 165 quid of cashback. So net difference, £65 cashback I've made by doing that, including fees and all that kind of thing, because there was like a £18 charge through HMRC to use it. But you know, in the future, I'll obviously separate that out. I'll try to pay, if it's over a 10 grand basically payment, I'll separate some for 1 month, pay it a little bit early, for example, and then pay the next one in the following month, just so that I'm able to basically get it for free. And I would make £165. Plus, I've got the cash flow available in my bank. So if you've got a high enough credit on, say, capital on tap, 16 grand isn't going to really make too much of a dent, or it might make a little bit of a dent, right? But it's not going to be something that happens all the time. You've got a month to pay it off, whatever you've got, until your next credit card statement. Maybe it's, you know, whatever the time frame is, and you've got that cash in the bank. It gives you that flexibility. You can make some cash back on something that you couldn't before, because by just paying it with your debit card, for example, there is no benefit really to do that. All that means is that you have to pay out of your bank account. And some people might say, well, that's not so bad. But for example, for me, where I've got to pay wholesalers who do not accept credit cards, I have to use my cash in my bank to pay wholesalers. You know, I might have a six grand order here. Next week I've got another 4. You know, I have to have money in the bank to pay the wholesalers rather than the credit card. Obviously, credit cards will be for retailers, but I need some balance. So not only do I have to potentially pay 16 grand for this, like today, or yeah, if it was due today for my bank, but I might have a 6-7 grand order as well for a wholesaler. So that's 20 odd grand going out in a couple of days, which is quite a lot of money. So by breaking it up almost, moving the funds coming from different sources, it's able to alleviate that cash flow issue that you could have. And obviously, you know, having a VAT bill at 16 grand, because I have December included in that, isn't going to always happen, right? But it's not about, you know, it's about basically trying to maximize what you can when you can. 165 quid, you know, twice a year, plus an extra bit here and there with the other VATs that are probably going to be a lesser of a bill, potentially. Then you might make £300, £400 a year. By doing that, getting extra cash back, plus is allowing you to have cash flow in your bank account, which is allowing you to purchase those wholesale orders a little bit earlier, 4 times a year. For that week where you've basically got to pay out a lot, usually, for VAT bills, or maybe there's corporation tax, so that'd be 5 times a year, so obviously the 4 quarters and the corporation tax. There's a large bill in that week. It's able to basically improve your cash flow for 5 weeks of the year, which is basically a month and a bit, which is you know, great. As in, you alleviate that, you've got cash back. It's also giving you that sort of interest free if you pay off your balance, obviously your capital on tap within that period. So it's giving you that flexibility to have options when you had none before. Okay, so that's just something that I've learned, and making sure that you split it. Now, if you can't split it, it's not the end of the world. You still might be able to make some cash back, profit, you could call it, free profit. But it's obviously 100 quid fee that I got charged from the actual metal company, Kerr company. A little bit annoying, but I've learned now what that means, and I can move forward. Obviously, now I'm telling you guys, you can obviously adapt that and do what I've just suggested. And not only obviously are we getting, or am I getting that cash back, 65 quid is covering a good chunk of, a handful of months of this charge, like 4 and a bit months. But I'm also getting obviously all the other benefits, included cashback unlimited on 6 retailers. I just selected the 6 that I use the most for retail arbitrage. And for me, that is a really nice way to get something where you could not before. And that's the first time I've actually used it in this method. And many people say that you can't necessarily do that, and you can and you can't, because I've just talked about exactly what the limitations are. But if you do it right, you can definitely make some decent profits, or free cash, is that cash back if you want to call it that, rather than paying out from your business bank account. It can be a little bit annoying at times where you've got to pay out a large sum. So I'm going to leave the video there. I'll wrap it up. Nice and simple, very easy. I'll leave a link below for the Kerr card if you're interested, because actually I use this as my main card, and then obviously I piggyback all my other cards on the app and select as and when what I need to be paid. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.